What is another name for violin plot? Whether you need good help, a genius writer, a brainy tutor, or a data wizard, Intuito4U has them all. It's like having a research dream team on demand.
You ever wonder how we find the story hidden inside millions or even billions of data points? I mean, today, we've got all this incredible computing power, right? But the art of actually seeing the data has a really rich, fascinating history. So let's explore how we've learned to turn just plain old numbers into powerful insight on a journey that's going to take us from the 19th century all the way to today. So let's start with a real-world problem. Imagine you're a bank. You've got data on thousands and thousands of customers. Things like age, income, family size, their spending habits, you name it. How on earth do you sift through all of that to find the people who are most likely to say yes to a loan? It feels like you're looking for a needle in a haystack, doesn't it?
Well, the first step isn't what you might think. It's not about building some super complex model right away. No, it's about becoming a data detective. This is the world of exploratory data analysis, or EDA. Just think of it like you're dusting for fingerprints and looking for clues before you even think about naming a suspect.
So the whole goal here isn't to prove a theory you already have. It's about letting the data speak for itself. You use visual tools to let the patterns, the trends, and maybe some strange outliers, you let them emerge totally organically. Honestly, think of it as the first, and maybe the most important, conversation you have with your data.
Okay, so every good detective needs a toolkit, right? In data exploration, the basic tools help you look at the evidence one piece at a time, and then you start to see how those pieces connect. Let's crack open that toolkit and see how it helps us build our case for the bank.
The investigation really starts with two key techniques. First up, you've got univariate analysis. That's just a fancy way of saying you look at each clue, each variable, all by itself. You ask simple questions. What's the age range here? What's the typical income? Then you move on to bivariate analysis, and that's where you start connecting the dots. Does this one clue relate to that other one?
All right, let's start with our first variable, age. A quick look at this histogram and box plot shows a pretty symmetrical, kind of bell-shaped curve. The average customer is about 45 years old, and you can see there aren't any extreme age outliers. It's a solid first clue for sure, but it's not exactly a smoking gun.
But then we look at income, and whoa, the story is completely different. This distribution is heavily skewed to the right. See that? Even though the average is sitting around $73,000, there's this long tail of high-income earners. These outliers, they are a critical piece of evidence.
And here it is. This is the power of connecting the dots. By moving into that bivariate analysis, we find our big breakthrough. The bank can now see a really clear pattern. Customers with higher incomes are way more likely to take out a personal loan. All that detective work, it paid off.
Now, you're probably thinking, all these techniques are products of the modern computer age, right? But the truth is, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Let's jump in a time machine and go back to the 19th century, a period so innovative it's actually been called the golden age of statistical graphics.
This timeline shows how early inventions, like the bar chart, really kicked things off. But that second half of the 1800s, it was a perfect storm. See, governments started collecting massive amounts of data, new printing tech was emerging, and you had these brilliant thinkers creating visual forms that were just unparalleled in their beauty and their impact.
And this right here, this is one of the most famous visualizations ever made. Florence Nightingale didn't just give people a table of numbers. She created this incredible coxcomb diagram. You can see instantly from those massive blue wedges that soldiers were dying from poor sanitation, not from battle. This was a graphic used for political persuasion, a tool so powerful it led to real reforms that saved countless lives.
And check out this masterpiece by Charles Joseph Menard. He wanted to show the impact of the US Civil War on Europe's cotton supply, and the visual explanation is just immediate. On the left, in 1858, you see this huge blue river flowing from the US. Then on the right, in 1862, that river has almost dried up, and it's been replaced by this massive orange flow from India. It tells a super complex geopolitical story in a single glance. Just amazing.
Okay, let's fast forward to today. The spirit of that golden age is absolutely alive and well. We're still inventing and, debating the best ways to see our data. And one of the most common debates actually revolves around a successor to that simple box plot we saw earlier. So, in one corner, we have the classic box plot. It's fantastic for a quick summary. In the other corner, we have the modern Violin plot, which promises to show you the full shape of the data. The big question is it a brilliant upgrade or just unnecessary clutter?
The argument for the Violin plot is pretty powerful. As this user points out, a simple box plot can't show you if your data has two different peaks, what we call a bimodal distribution. A Violin plot makes that hidden shape immediately obvious, which can stop you from making some really bad assumptions about your data.
But of course, there's a counter-argument. A violin plot is symmetrical, right? The left side is just a mirror image of the right. So critics argue this is redundant. It's wasted ink showing the exact same information twice. They ask, why not just show one side or use a totally different chart? The debate continues.
So whether we're using Nightingale's hand-drawn shots from the 1850s or debating violin plots on Reddit today, the goal is still exactly the same, to turn raw data into actionable insight. And this isn't just some academic exercise. It has real, tangible, world business impact.
And that brings us right back to our bank. By using these visual techniques, they can make smarter decisions, they can create personalized marketing campaigns that are targeted directly at those high-income customers, and they can communicate these findings clearly so everyone in the organization is on the same page. Good visualization, it isn't just pretty, it's profitable. Ultimately, when you boil it all down, from the golden age to today, the lesson is this. Hidden inside every single data set, there's a story just waiting to be told. The real question is, are you using the right tools to see it, to hear it, and to understand what it's trying to tell you?
And subscribe now for amazing videos just like that. Thanks for watching.